start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying the second chapter, the second section of Kathopanishad. This is a brilliant Upanishad giving us the knowledge of a Paurusheya Vishaya. A Paurusheya Vishaya means what exists but what our sense organs cannot perceive. There are many Paurusheya Vishayas, like our mind, it is not visible to us, but it is there. But what reveals this mind? It is the Upanishad which says this mind exists, it travels from body to body. All these are all Apaurushaya Pramanam. Veda is the only Apaurushaya Pramanam, and Upanishad is the means of revealing the truth of what exists in the Veda. Today we are going to discuss a very, very important section of Kathopanishad, 8 mantras of the second section of chapter 2, starting from verse number 8 to 15. The entire gist of Kathopanishad is there in these 8 mantras. As you recall, Nachiketa wanted to know if there is anything after death. He also wanted to know, is there anything beyond time? The answer to these 2 questions is given in these 8 verses. That is why these are very, very important verses of Kathopanishad. And we'll start now from the 8th verse. We'll see how the verse is chanted by Vijaya.
य एष सुप्तेषु जागर्ति य एष सुप्तेषु जागर्ति कामं कामं पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः कामं कामं पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तत्ब्रह्म तदेव शुक्रं तत्ब्रह्म तदेवामृतमुच्यते तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकाः श्रुताः सर्वे तस्मिन् लोकाः श्रुताः सर्वे तदुनात्येति कश्चन तदुनात्येति कश्चन एतद्वैतत् एतद्वैतत्.
There are 2 important messages which are conveyed in this mantra. This is one of the Etad Vaitat mantras of Kathopanishad. There are 12 such mantras in Kathopanishad. This is what you wanted to know, Nachiketa. What is that? There is some reality called Brahman, called as Atma or consciousness, which never sleeps, which never perishes. It is available now, it is available in the past, it will be available in the future. So Nachiketa's question was, what is there after death? This Brahman is there after death. What is beyond time, past and future? This Brahman is beyond past and future. Therefore, we call it as immortal, timeless. So these two messages are there. There is something after death, and that is what is called as immortal. Beyond that, there is nothing. This universe, what you see is visible and invisible. Both visible Murta Prapancha, invisible Amurta Prapancha, both of them are illumined by consciousness. So 8 to 15 is Brahma Swarupam. It's a pramanam for Chaitanya Atma. See, many times some students will say, where is it mentioned in the Veda there is consciousness, eternal? You should refer to this mantra. This is the praman. This is the source of knowledge for the existence of Atma, Brahman, Chaitanyam. All this mean the same entity. It is not a new entity which is revealed, but it is always available. Always available inside the body, outside the body, like space. And this consciousness is given a name Purusha. Purishete iti Purushaha. What indwells in the body is Purushaha. Shaha means indweller, Chaitanya. Puri means body, Puram, like a city. Now, what does this consciousness do? What is the function of this consciousness? It is eternally aware of objects in the universe and absence of objects in the universe. Whenever we are in the waking state or the dream state, we are experiencing objects. In the sleep state, in the third pada, there is no objects, but I, the consciousness, am aware of the world without objects. That illuminating principle is this Chaitanya. So what is the name we give this Avastatraya Sakshi Chaitanyam? It illumines all the three states and also the blankness which we experience in sleep. Anytime you go to sleep, what do you experience? Am I present in the sleep state or not? Yes. I am present as the witness of that blankness. Don't say I'm present as the body. That is sthula sharira. We are talking about something which is beyond the body, which was what Nachiketa's question was. Sthula sharira, Nachiketa knew it will be destroyed. But here the revelation is something which exists beyond our body, beyond our mind, beyond the matter universe. So in the deep sleep state, even if the ears are open, we cannot hear. Somebody is talking inside the room, I don't hear because I'm sleeping. So what is it which sleeps? It is the mind which sleeps. It is not the I, the consciousness, which is sleeping. Consciousness illumines the sleeping condition of the mind. There is a very beautiful verse in Vedanta Upanishad which has got the similar meaning. It comes in the 4th chapter, Swayam Jyoti Brahmana, 3rd section, 23rd verse. This Shankaracharya quotes about 20 times in Mandukya Upanishad, to reveal what is this Atma. Here in this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it says it is imperishable. This Atma Chaitanyam is imperishable and it is always present. Mind goes to sleep, but Atma is always awake. We must register this very, very well if we want to experience the taste of moksha. In meditation, you must be able to say, I am the Atma, which is aware of the blankness in meditation, blankness in sleep. Therefore, I can say, I am there even when there is no body. After the death of the body, also, this consciousness is available. It cannot do any transaction because it is avyavaharyam. Mantra number 7 of Mandukya Upanishad, it clearly says avyavaharyam. It does not get involved in the transactions. But without that, there is no transaction possible. That is the unique nature of this Chaitanya. Nirmimanaha, that means it creates the world even in the dream state, when due to the vasanas in the mind, the world is created. At that time also, consciousness is revealing the objects. Kamam kamam purushaha nirmimanaha tato jiva sukram. I am the creator of the external, internal universe and the blankness. Creator means what? Illuminator here. Pure illuminator. Shukram. Shukram means pure illuminator. I am always pure. I am not affected by whatever I illumine. Sunlight is not affected by whatever it is illumining on the earth. Tat Brahma. That consciousness is limitless and it is you, Nachiketa. That is, this makes it a Mahavakyam. Consciousness in the body is the consciousness outside the body. There is no inside, outside with reference to consciousness. Inside, outside is with reference to the body. Tadeva Amrutam Uchate. That alone is called as immortal. See, space is there inside the room and outside the room. But once the wall is removed, you cannot say space is inside, outside. It is one space which is all pervading. So body goes away, but consciousness remains alive. It survives the death of the body. This is what is said in the 20th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Najayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah ajo nitya shashvato yan puranaha na hanyate hanyamane sharire. This deathless, birthless consciousness is what you wanted to know, Nachiketa. There is no other pramanam. There is no other source of this knowledge of consciousness. World can be known by the pancha indriyas, external world. Mind cannot be known by the external indriyas. Mind is known only by Sakshi Chaitanya. Tasmin Shrutehe Sarve Lokaha. All this entire universe, the 14 lokas, they exist in consciousness. Initially, before the study of Upanishads, we say consciousness is in the body. After the study of Upanishads, what do we say? All bodies are in consciousness, which is called as Purusha. Kshetrajnaha. 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That Kshetrajna, that Purusha is one. Ekam. It is Advaitam. It is Vishwadharam. Gagana Sadrusham. It is the support of the entire cosmos. Tadunateti Kashchana. There is no creation beyond this consciousness. Kaivalya Upanishad, a very famous mantra, the 19th mantra, I quote this very often. Mayeva sakalam jatam, mai sarvam pratishtitam, mai sarvam layam layati, tat brahmatmaya asmayam aham. So this consciousness is where all the lokas are born, all the all the universes are born, they exist, and they resolve in this consciousness. See, many a times when we listen to these verses, we think consciousness is an object. That is the orientation of the mind. We should drop that orientation and say that consciousness is I, this Atma. I am that pure consciousness. Then you will get the real meaning of this verse. All these verses has to be looked at it as subjective. The whole dream rises from me. Me here means the waker. The whole world, waking world rises from me. Means that me is the consciousness. I am in the world when we say it is samsara. It is individuality. The world is in me means moksha swarupa atma. So the two questions which he asked, Nachiketa 1:120, 1:2:14, both these are being answered in these 8 verses. Okay, very, very beautiful section. You can see the depth of Kathopanishad in these mantras. See, these 8 mantras, if you are able to remember, meditate continuously, what will happen to you is that consciousness will be owned by you. Repeated meditation on these verses, contemplation, meditation, will make this knowledge very deep inside you at a subconscious level. That is what is called as nishtha. See, in the class, we hear these talks, the knowledge comes, but then it goes away because of memory problem. In order to solve this, that is why we say Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasa. Now we will go to the next verse.
अग्निर्यथैको भुवनं प्रविष्टो अग्निर्यथैको भुवनं प्रविष्टो रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च.
Kathopanishad is very famous for 3 examples. And the examples are Agni Tattvam, Vayu Tattvam, and Surya. One verse has been taken for each of this. And each of these words, they are simple examples, but they contain a very deep meaning. In the 9th verse, we are discussing Agni Tattva. This Agni is there in unmanifest form and in manifest form. When we light a candle, it is manifest. But when we don't light the candle, there is that fire it is an unmanifest condition. The shape of Agni, the shape of the fire depends on the Upadi. Suppose you take a big log of wood or you do a big yajna. The shape of the flames, Agni flames which come up are different than what you get in a small candle. So what decides? There are two messages here. One message is that the Agni has got form, that means with manifestation, and a formless nature, unmanifest nature. A similar mantra came in the seventh mantra of the same section, second chapter, second section, seventh mantra. Now we are in the ninth mantra. In the seventh mantra, what did we say? Yoni manye prapadyante sharirastvaya dehinaha. According to the karma, which is an upadi, the body is taken up, the jiva enters this body. Jiva is unmanifest form. Body is manifest. So, similarly, whenever we see light, we must remember light appears to be formed and located. Location of the light is incidental. Similarly, location of consciousness is incidental. That means consciousness in the body. Suppose I say I am the awareness principle in the body. That awareness in the body is incidental. It is manifest form. But it also has an unmanifest form. And that unmanifest form is called as Eka Atma, which is non-dual. What separates you and me, it is not the consciousness, it is not the awareness, it is the body, it is the mind which makes the differences in the world. So Jnani, when he looks at the world, he doesn't look at it as differences. He sees one Atma behind the entire universe. There are three errors which we commit. First error is Atma is plural. Consciousness is plural. Many consciousness are there. Why do we make this mistake? Because we take the body, which is the container, as real. Container is not real. Consciousness is real. The travel of Atma to Swarga, that is when the mind, when the body is burnt here, the mind travels to Swarga. It goes to different lokas. That travel, the mind is taken as Atma. That is the second error. The third error is we say, I am limited. I am limited to this body. This body is me and I am the body. These are three errors. How to remove this with the help of this Agni Tattva example. Location of fire in the wood. For example, you take a wood. Inside the wood, is there fire or not? Yes, there is fire principle in the wood. You rub the wood, two bricks, two wood, you rub it, you will find that the flame comes up like we have seen it in Kaivalya Upanishad. So instead of saying fire is in the wood, what we should say is fire is all pervading. It is got unmanifest nature. Ignorant person will say fire is in the log of wood. A wise man will say fire is all pervading and it is temporarily manifesting in the wood also. So similarly, Chaitanyam is all pervading, consciousness is all pervading. At the moment it is available for our transactions. We are hearing the talk. I'm speaking. All this is possible in the medium of consciousness. Prati Rupam Babuva. Agni seems to have a location. Rupam Prati. When the wood is there, different logs of wood are there, and then fire is burnt in each of the 5 different woods, we say there are 5 different fires. For Vyavahara, it is correct. We count the number of jivas also. But Jiva Tattvam is consciousness principle. You cannot count the jivas, you can only count the bodies. Ekaha Atma Sarva Bhutantaratma. Very powerful word. In each body, there is only one Chaitanya. That is a delusion. There is one Chaitanya in all the bodies. So the sentiency or the Chetanatvam, the enlivening principle is one. Whether it is an ant, whether it is an elephant, whether it is a human body or a Devata Shariram, the enlivening principle is one Atma. Bahishcha means it is not only inside the body, it is also outside, it is all pervading in nature. Okay, so this is the Agni example. Next, verse number 10, we are going to study the Vayu Tattva.
वायुर्यथैको भुवनं प्रविष्टो वायुर्यथैको भुवनं प्रविष्टो रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च.
You have understood the Agni example in verse number 9. The Vayu example, the Samashti Vayu, the air, the total air in the cosmos. It is one. But in each body, it appears as if that is the enlivening principle in my body, but it is a Samashti, one Vayu Tattvam which exists. All the bodies, they depend on this Vayu Tattva. Whether it is a bird flying on the sky, whether I sitting in the class, all these are all possible only because of Prana Tattva. So, Vayu principle is Eka. And Vayu is invisible. I can't see. I can't see through with my eyes this Vayu Tattva. The air, the enlivening Prana Tattva. The entire, so similarly, what Kathopanishad says is like you have seen, Agni is all pervading, Vayu is all pervading, Atma, the Chaitanyam, is all pervading. See, such a beautiful example and a very direct example of how to know I am this consciousness. In meditation, what you have to do is, I am like the Vayu, which is all pervading. I am the consciousness, which is there in this body. It is also there in the entire cosmos. That way, what I will do, I will be owning up that consciousness as the self in this body. Now let's go to the next 11th verse, Surya example.
सूर्यो यथा सर्वलोकस्य चक्षुः सूर्यो यथा सर्वलोकस्य चक्षुः न लिप्यते चाक्षुषैर्बाह्यदोषैः न लिप्यते चाक्षुषैर्बाह्यदोषैः एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा न लिप्यते लोकदुःखेन बाह्यः न लिप्यते लोकदुःखेन बाह्यः.
Surya is called as Sarvalok Chakshuhu. Sarvaloka. All the worlds are illumined by the the sunlight. Sunlight only illumines them, but sunlight is not affected by the lokas. Whatever happens in the loka, it never affects the Surya. Similarly, whatever happens to this body, mind complex, nothing happens to the Atma. The common features of Surya Prakasha and Chaitanya, both of them are ekam. Both of them are all pervading, sarvajna, invisible, formless. They are untainted by anything. Atma is never tainted by all the thoughts which you have. Angry thoughts, jealousy thoughts. Atma is not affected, mind is affected. Like sunlight illumines everything, Atma accommodates everything in the universe. Because of this light of Atma only, the sun also rises. The sun is also illumined. We are going to see that in this 15th mantra. Very, very powerful mantra for Chaitanya principle. Suryaha Sarvaloka Chakshuhu. Sunlight is the eye of the entire universe. Nalipyate Chakshusai Bahya Doshaihi. It is not contaminated. When the body, the consciousness is not dirty. There is punya papam in the karana sharira, but atma doesn't have any punya papam. Nirvana shatkam, we say na punyam na papam. So whenever we feel that we are very, very angry, at that time you must learn to say the mind is angry, mind has got lobha, greed, matha, matsarya, raga, dvesha. All this is the impurities of the mind. It is not the impurities of me, the Atma. Can you see the difference between the mind and which is what we usually say? I am very angry today. I became very jealous. That I is the mind. It is not the consciousness. What we are revealing in Kathopanishad is there is a light in which you see this anger in you. There is a light in which the thoughts are bubbling in your mind. Ekastatha sarvabhuta antaratma. This is antaratma. It is the inner self of everyone. There is ashuddhi, impurity in mind and in the body and in the world. But shuddhi is not related to the atma. Atma is pure chaitanya. Never affected. Asanga swarupaha. Na lipyate loka dukkhena. Sorrow belongs to the mind. This is what Arjuna was taught in the second chapter. Arjuna, you are having a adhyasa. You are having a superimposition of the mind as you. Sorrow belongs to the mind. Body is killed in the battle. You are not killed. Neither Bhishma is killed, neither Drona is killed, because all of us are the same Chaitanya. The TV screen is never affected by the movies. Suppose you see a tsunami in the movie, but the TV screen remains unaffected. Similarly, I, the consciousness, am unaffected by whatever happens to the body, whatever happens to the mind, whatever happens in the world. I am a higher one. That tattvam is called as Paramarthika tattvam. Like the waker and the dreamer, waker and Atma are two different categories of realities. One is Vyavaharika, another is Paramarthika. Remember these two words. See, in Sanskrit, when we remember these words, what happens is it's very difficult to translate in English. So, but if you remember the Sanskrit words, what will happen is immediately you will get connected to Atma. Paramarthikam Atma. Vyavaharikam Shariram. So, what did we learn in the last three verses? There is one Atma, which is the inner self of all the beings. That is why it is called as the immanent principle. But this immanent principle, Atma, can independently also exist. Like when we go to sleep, as consciousness, we are ever there. That consciousness, which is available beyond the body, mind, and the world, is called as transcendental principle. What is the third lesson? This Atma is asangaha. It is unaffected by any imperfections in the universe, in the body, or in the mind. Okay, they are wonderful verses worth by hearting, worth remembering, worth contemplating for claiming the consciousness as yourself. Otherwise, these verses have got no other value. If you want to know who you are, these verses are invaluable. Next verse, number 12.
येको वशी सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा येको वशी सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा एकं रूपं बहुधाय करोति एकं रूपं बहुधाय करोति तमात्मस्थं येनुपश्यन्ति धीराः तमात्मस्थं येनुपश्यन्ति धीराः तेषां सुखं शाश्वतं नेतरेषाम् तेषां सुखं शाश्वतं नेतरेषाम्.
Here, Lord Yama tells Nachiketa that try to know this self, this inner self. The cause of happiness for all the human beings is this inner self. Who gains this happiness? One who realizes this Atma, which is the inner self, as Brahman. You see, I am Atma Brahman. Mandukya Upanishad. Tattvamasi, Chandogya Upanishad. Prajnanam Brahman. Aitareya Upanishad. So all these Upanishad, Aham Brahmasmi, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. These are all Mahavakyams. Mahavakyam is mentioned in this verse and in the next two verses also. It's a Mahavakyam here. That inner self is this Brahman. The self in me is the self in all. See, this is in English, it's very difficult to understand this, but when you try to understand the Mahavakyam, when you understand the nature of the consciousness, then it becomes easy. Like we studied the air example, Vayu Tattvam, Agni Tattvam, Surya Prakasha. Now you can see that the consciousness is like that, all pervading, immanent, as well as transcendental principle. In this one mantra and in the next mantra, both these mantras are Mahavakya mantras, and you will see that 12, 13, and 14 are all these three are Mahavakya. Why do we say Mahavakyam? In the first And the second line, Paramatma Swarupam is there. Third line, Aikyam with Paramatma is mentioned. And in the fourth line, the Palam of Aikyam is mentioned. See, it's a packed verse, but it has got so much of meaning. What is the nature of Paramatma? Ekaha, Vashi. It is a controller and it is one without a second. Like electricity is one. Behind the bulb, behind the mic, behind the TV, one electricity. Behind the fan, one electricity. Where is the consciousness? Everywhere. Sarvabhuta Antaratma. It is the very essence of all of us. Our essence is not our body. Male, female is not our essence. The blood and the bones is not our essence. The heart and the lungs and the stomach is not our essence. The mind with all its thoughts and the knowledge of the world, it is not our essence. The essence is Sarvabhuta Antaratma is the Chaitanya principle. It is the consciousness principle, invisible principle, only revealed by Veda. In this world, there are many things which can be revealed by our sense organs. But there is only one thing which cannot be revealed by the sense organs is this Atma. This Atma is very, very important. That is why Veda is like the eyes. It's like the sense organ. It can reveal the Atma which is invisible. Ekam Rupam Sat. It is changeless. It is not Ekam. Ekam means non-dual. There is no second thing in that Atma. In that consciousness, there is a second thing because everything is resolved into that consciousness. All the matter principles are resolved into this spiritual content. Bahuda yat karoti. Seemingly, it appears as if there is each Atma is there in the body. Seemingly. But factually, it is independent, Swatantra Chaitanya. Inside the body, it is there. Outside the body, also it is there. Inside the mind, also it is there. Outside the mind is also there. The only way to know this Atma is to say, close your eyes and say, I am the Atma. That's all. Try it out. You will know, then only you will realize this Atma. If you keep objectifying it as there is an Atma somewhere, there is God somewhere, all that, you will never reach God. God is there in this body as Atma. Aham Atma Gudakeshaha. 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 20th verse. It says, Aham Atma. I am there in each and every one of you. Lord Krishna says this. The same thing is said here in Upanishad. Bhagavad Gita is always, it is an essence of the Upanishads. Whatever you study in the Upanishads is a essence, is the content of Bhagavad Gita. Dhiraha anupashyati. Rare seekers like you who have come to study Kathopanishad, they are the wise people. They are the people, the student is well prepared. He is the one who will see this Brahman. He is the one who will know this Atma as the reality behind the entire universe. Suppose your mind is not prepared. Suppose your mind is always turbulent. As you study the Upanishads, your mind becomes calm. In the calm mind, when you listen to these mantras, immediately it will strike you. I am that consciousness. I am that consciousness. Not as an object, but as I am. Those who have dropped the objectification orientation, mind, when it wants to be in the world, it will objectify everything. There is a tree there, there's a mobile here, there's a computer here. So all this is objectified by the mind. But when it comes to Atma, the only way you can claim it is I am that consciousness. Keep on repeating this 100 times. Doesn't matter. I am the consciousness. I am the Atma. Let it be remembered by you. That is the only way to know this Atma. Reading in the book, listening to the talk, you will forget it. But when you say it in your mind, I am the Atma, then you are making a difference in yourself. Apuryamanam matala pratishtam samudramaka pravishanti yatvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sate sashantimapnoti na kamakami. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 70th verse. All the oceans, all the rivers, they enter the ocean, they lose their identity. Similarly, the mind with all thoughts about the world, about the objects, about the beings, when it reaches this Atma as the self, what happens to the mind? Mind dissolves. That is why Ramana Maharshi always asks the question, find out who is the person who is saying this I in the body, in the mind. Who wants to know the truth? Find out. Immediately the mind will dissolve. That was his technique of revealing the self. Very beautiful method. Validaresha, no other means of Purnatvam is there except this Atmajnanam. Then if you say, I am fulfilled in life, not by acquiring another house, not by acquiring another $1 million in your bank account. That will make you work for the next million, next house, next child, next so many businesses you would like to have. But when you come to Atma and Atmajnanam and you have made it subjective, I am that pure self. Again and again, when you repeat it with the help of these mantras, the fulfillment which rises in your bosom is cannot be described. It is something which is unique. Each one have you must feel it within yourself. That is why these meditation sessions which I conduct are very, very important. Next mantra.
नित्यो अनित्यानां चेतनश्चेतनानां नित्यो अनित्यानां चेतनश्चेतनानाम् एको बहूनां यो विदधाति कामान् एको बहूनां यो विदधाति कामान् तमात्मस्थं येन पश्यन्ति धीराः तमात्मस्थं येन पश्यन्ति धीराः तेषां शान्तिः शाश्वती नेतरेषाम् तेषां शान्तिः शाश्वती नेतरेषाम्.
There are many seekers who go to Swamiji and says, Swami, bless me with peace, Shanti. Again and again, they go to a Swamiji and says, bless me with peace. I want peace. I want eternal peace. How do you get that peace? Come to this mantra. Nityo va Nityana. It is the eternal among the non-eternal. In the non-eternal world, there is something which is eternal, which is called as Purushaha. Oh, Nachiketa, you wanted to know what is there after death? This is what is there. There is a Purusha. How do you know this? Come to the Veda, come to Kathopanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, get the knowledge, claim it as yourself, and be free. It is the intelligence behind the intelligent. Swami Chinmayananda makes this very beautifully explanation of this. Intelligence. It is not the intelligent person we are talking about. It is the consciousness which makes that person intelligent. It is the electricity which makes the bulb glow. It is through this consciousness only all the desires are fulfilled by a person. All of us have desires. But how do you fulfill them? Because there is consciousness illumining those desires and then making your body run into the world to get fulfilled. So indirectly, what blesses you? It is this consciousness which blesses you all the time. And those who know this consciousness as the inner self, as Atma, as the Purusha, they are the ones who get this eternal peace. Nitya Shanti. See, again in this mantra, in the 13th mantra, and in the next mantra, these three mantras are Mahavakyams. The first and second line parts, they talk about Paramatma Swarupam. Nityo Nityanam Chetano Chetananam. Third line, third part talks about Aikyam. There is only one Atma. There is only one absolute peace. Everything other peace, the relative peace depends on this absolute peace. This is a very beautiful verse in Mandukya Upanishad in the 4th chapter, where where it says that whenever you experience peace in the peace, remember the peace of the mind is actually the peace of the Atma. It is a relative peace. You get, suppose your thoughts are quieted. You are watching a beautiful sunrise, forgotten everything in the world. There is no other thought in the world except watching the sunrise. At that time, what happens? It is the peace which you're experiencing, that peace which you're experiencing either in the external world or within yourself in meditation is the peace of Atma. It is not the relative peace of the mind. What do you get when you get this? What is the jnana palam? Suppose I come to know this Atma through this Kathopanishad. What will I get? Sashvatam Shanti. Eternal peace. There is no other way to get eternal peace except the knowledge of Atma. Nature of Paramatma is Nitya. Paramatma is Nitya. Why? Because Paramatma is the creator of the world. Whenever you see the world, you will see it is that Paramatma which is illuminating the world. Chaitanyam is the only permanent thing in the universe. That Paramatma is called as Chaitanya. Where is it located? You should ask the question where it is not located. Anityatvam belongs to the impermanent things in the world. World is impermanent, but Bhagavan is permanent. Where do you have to search for that Bhagavan? Not outside your body, not outside your mind, but it is inside the body, inside the mind. It is the inner self. Nitya Vastu is there in all of us. That Nitya Vastu is the object, it is the goal of all the Upanishads to reveal it. Chetana Chetananam. Body is mortal, it is Chetana. But why? What the one does not belong to the body, it belongs to Chaitanya. Light is permanent, whereas the hand is impermanent. When I move the hand, I can see the reflection of light in my hand. Hand is matter principle. So the light gets reflected, but outside my hand, is the light is there or not? Light is there everywhere. When I bring my hand, the light gets reflected in my hand. Similarly, consciousness is everywhere. But when I want to know that consciousness in my body, I can know it only when I observe it as reflected in the thoughts. Consciousness exists everywhere as existence principle. But in my body, it is called as consciousness, illumining my thoughts, illumining my mind. Paramatma is the sentiency, Chaitanya principle. Eka, it is one only. Non-dual. Non-dual means what? There is no second consciousness. This consciousness alone exists permanently. In that consciousness appears this entire universe. Like the waker. In the waker, the dream world appears. In consciousness, the waking world appears and disappears. So, consciousness is paramarthikam. Waking state and the waking world is vyavaharic. Same thing should apply in Mandukya Upanishad. Mantra number 7 talks of Turiya Atma. Turiya Atma is absolute nature, in which all the three states of the mind are coming and going. Bahuda Kama Vidadati. From Jnana Kanda, we go to Karma Kanda to fulfill all the desires. In Bhagavad Gita, we have this verse on the 7th chapter. Yo yam yam tanu bhaktaha shraddhaya chityam archati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidyava vidhad. That means what? Whatever desires are being fulfilled, all those desires are being fulfilled by me alone. Lord Krishna says, I am the fulfiller of all the desires. There, Lord Krishna means it is this Chaitanya principle shining in all the minds which fulfills the desires of all the worshippers. Kaivalya, I have told you about this 19th mantra, Mayeva Sakalam. Bhagavad Gita Dhyan Shloka. Prapanna Parijaraya. This verse also talks about the same consciousness which is the wielder, which is the one which is the essence of all the scriptural texts. It is the essence, it is the nectar of Bhagavad Gita. In all the Bhagavad Gita 701 verses, what is the central essence being taught there? Same thing is being taught in Kathopanishad as the Chaitanya principle. Paramatma. Atmastham. In this body-mind complex, as the experiencer, experienced is the thought, the knowledge, the ignorance. But the experiencer is this consciousness. Experiencer consciousness is immortal. Body mind keeps on changing. It keeps on taking new bodies. Who says this? Dhiraha anupashyanti. Dhiraha means a wise man who has come to study the Kathopanishad. It is not a normal person who is involved in Vyavahara. If you ask him, he will just be doing Vyavahara as per the body. But Dhiraha, whenever the word Upanishad uses Dhiraha, it keeps in mind the seeker who wanted to know that Atma through the Upanishad, who has purified his mind and who is listening to the talk of Upanishads, Kathopanishad, all these mantras, when you hear it again and again, what happens in your mind is something which is very difficult to explain. It is that consciousness which gets revealed to you. Whoever may be, you may be anywhere in any part of the world listening to these talks. But these verses, that is why we say Upanishadic verses are Praman. They are the source of knowledge for the Atma. The Atma is the eternal peace. You will never get it anywhere. You will get it only in your own self when you claim the Atma as the self. You claim the Atma as the self and do all Vyavahara. No problem. That is the objective of this study. All Grihasthas can know this Atma as their true nature and get involved in Vyavahara. And tell yourself the body is doing Vyavahara. I am the one who is not in Vyavahara. I am Turiya Chaitanyam Avyavaharyam. Okay? So these are all Mahavakya mantras 12, 13, 14. And they talk about oneness between the Jivatma and Parama. Whatever verse reveals this oneness is called as Mahavakya. Let's go to the 14th one.
तदेतदिति मन्यन्ते तदेतदिति मन्यन्ते अनिर्देश्यं परमं सुखम् अनिर्देश्यं परमं सुखम् कथं नो तद्विजानीयाम् कथं नो तद्विजानीयाम् किमु भाति विभाति वा किमु भाति विभाति वा.
Nachiketa, who is a brilliant student, he has understood all the 13 verses of this section, second section. Now, what does he has got a question. The question he is asking is, now, that I have understood. Now, tell me something. How does this Atma shine? Does it require another light to make it shine? You are saying consciousness is there, but consciousness, how does it shine? It is indescribable. I understand that. But Tatu Anirdesham Paramam Sukham. This Ananda, I know, Brahma Ananda is indescribable. It is the highest. It is giving me Shanti. It is absolute peace. I understand all that. It cannot be explained by words. Yato vacho nivartante. That also I understand. But when I want to refer to it as my own Ananda, is it being illumined? Is that Ananda being illumined by something else? Etad Ananda iti manyate. Ananda available in myself. It is not a remote concept. It is, I can feel it. But that feeling of Ananda, Brahmananda in me, is it revealed by something else? Is the question which Nachiketa is asking Yamadharmaraj. How to get that Ananda converted into Aparoksha Jnana? See, all these mantras, Nachiketa heard it like you and me. There is an Atma, there is Paroksha Atma, it is distant, somewhere it is there, it is Brahma Ananda, all that he has heard. Now he is asking a question, Kim Bhati? This is a very, very important word in this verse. Is it visible? Is it experienceable? Is it perceptible? Is it available somewhere? Vibhativa. Does it shine by another light? Is it distinctly available or not? Now you tell me, because you are Yamadharmaraja, you are the knower of this light. Tell me how to get that experience in me, myself. how to get this Brahma Ananda, Atma Ananda? How do I get it? This is a question raised by many, many students. Almost all students will ask the same question. How I understand, you have told me about there is a Atma, there is Chaitanya, all that. Mind is got a orientation of objectification. The question is rising up in Nachiketa because it is an orientation of the mind. And Yamadharmaraja brilliantly answers this question in a very, very, very popular verse. It comes in four Upanishads and also in Bhagavad Gita. And that verse is this verse by Vijaya.
न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकम् न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकम् नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तम् अनुभाति सर्वम् तमेव भान्तम् अनुभाति सर्वम् तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति.
The self-evident, self-consciousness, self-illumining principle of Chaitanya, Atma, Brahman, is explained in this verse. Many times we don't know how to experience this Atma. I have been repeatedly saying, claim the Atma as your own self. How to claim that is explained in this verse. It appears in Mundaka We have done Mundaka before. It appears in Svetasvatara Upanishad. And it appears in Bhagavad Gita. न तद्भासयते सूर्यः न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. 15th chapter, 6th verse. Chapter 13, 14, 15 are Jnana Kanda portion of Bhagavad Gita. They are brilliant chapters, giving the essence of Kathopanishad, those three chapters. Whatever you study here, you will study the same thing in 3 chapters in Bhagavad Gita. Same idea. You can see this. The sunshine does not shine there. Moon also does not shine. Fire cannot shine. Neither the lightning. When I am sleeping, I am there. That I is consciousness is being revealed in this month. That consciousness does not require any other light because it is the spiritual light. It is the Atma Tattva. Spiritual light does not require anything else. All of you don't try to experience that light. Just say, I am that light. That's all. It is not like a light, a material light shining. It is the spiritual light illumining. It illumines the absence of the world in the sleep state. It illumines the presence of the world in the waking state and also in the dream state. Brahmananda is never an object of experience. It is only an object of claiming it you as your own self. All experiences are in time. We get 2 types of Ananda. We have seen this in Taittiriya Upanishad. In this second chapter, very beautiful analysis of Ananda, happiness was made. Experiential Ananda is called as Vishaya Ananda, relative in time and space. Objective Ananda, I can experience it. I experience a nice ice cream, experienceable. I experience a beautiful sunrise, experienceable. The eyes, the ears, all I enjoy beautiful music. I can experience it. These are all experienceable ananda. The sense organs will bring the objects to my mind. But in my mind, what makes that sense object shine? It is the Atman. Brahma Ananda is beyond time and space. This is what Nachiketa wanted to know. What is beyond the present? What is beyond past and future? Beyond time, what is there? This subjective Ananda is there. What is the subjective Ananda? It is the substratum of all the experiences. Brahmananda is this consciousness awareness principle. And how can I claim it? Only by saying Aham Brahma Ananda Asmi. In Kathopanishad, Pratibodha Viditam Matam Amrutatvam hi vindate Atmana vindate Viryam Vidyaya vindate Amrutam. Before the knowledge of anything which arises in the mind, this consciousness is there. Pratibodha. Before the knowledge. Same thing is explained here as Natatra Suryo Bhati. Sunlight cannot illumine that consciousness. The Chandra Tarakam. Neither the moonlight can illumine that consciousness. Neither the Tarakam, stars cannot illumine. Vidyut, lightning cannot illumine that. Kutaha ayam agnihi. How can this small square camphor which I am lighting in front of the idol, how can that light illumine that Paramatma? This is why it is called as Deepadhana mantra. Whenever in the temples, when they do the arati in the temples to the idols, they chant this. Sometimes you may not hear it, but this is what they chant. Tam eva bhantam, nubhati sarva. You shine first, and then only the world shines. Tasya bhasa idam sarvam vibhati. Vibhati means knowingness does not depend on the light, it depends on the Chaitanya principle. Knowingness is the consciousness. You are a knower of the world. You are the consciousness knowing the world. Sarva pramana agocharam. This consciousness cannot be known by the sense organs or the mind, because it is ever illumining the consciousness and the mind. How do we know that this consciousness exists? Lord Yamadharmaraja says all experiences are possible only because of this consciousness. What is the knowledge I had before I came to study the Kathopanishad? I am a mortal body. What is the new knowledge I have to learn now? I am the consciousness, which is the cause of this entire world. It is a very big jump in understanding our nature. Very big jump. You don't have to keep telling everybody else. Only you have to tell this to your own intellect, and the intellect should say, I am convinced, because it is coming from a relevant pramanam. valid source of knowledge. For consciousness, there is only one source of knowledge, which is Veda. When I see the photograph, I don't see the camera, but I indirectly infer there was a camera which was taking the pictures. Similarly, when I go through the world's experiences, I have to infer in my mind there is a consciousness. That consciousness is called as Bhagavan. It is the intelligence principle behind the whole creation. It is the intelligence of the intellectuals. You require proof of everything, but never do you ask proof of your own existence. I am is our experience. You don't ask somebody else, can you tell me whether I'm existing or not? No, I know that I exist. That I know I exist is this consciousness. It is not Vyashti, it is not the individual or Samashti, the total, but it is beyond this Vyashti and Samashti. Vyashti and Samashti is only cause and effect. Cause and effect is there in the relative plane. It is there in Vyavahara. It is what we are studying here is beyond cause and effect. This is what Nachiketa wanted to know. Try to remember the two questions. What is there beyond past? What is beyond Karanam and Karyam? Bhuta, Bhutam, Bhutasha. You remember the question? Then you will remember this answer now. What is beyond cause and effect? Krita, Akrita. That was the two words used in Nachiketa's question. Beyond Dharma and Adharma, beyond Punyam and Papam, it is this Bhantam. For this consciousness, it is Swayam Jyoti. For those who have done Panchayat with me, there is one full chapter which we study for the Swayam Jyoti principle of Atma. The stage and the light. If you remember the chapter, you will remember the whole story. It is called Swayam Jyoti, Jyotisham Jyotihi, light of all lights. Satyasya Satyam. This is used in the in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So at the end of the second section, what do we conclude? I am that Ananta principle, limitless consciousness principle. I am no longer taking myself as the body, mind, and thoughts. The whole creation is resting on me, the consciousness. This consciousness is my own higher nature, and everything belongs to this higher nature. We call it as Paramatma. This Paramatma has got two conditions. One is Sagunam, Nirgunam. Sagunam means this entire universe belongs to this Paramatma. Nirguna means that pure principle, pure consciousness principle is this ultimate Atma. With this, we end the second section of chapter 2. Next week, I will start the third section, and there are 18 mantras in the third section. The topics, three topics are covered. Brahma Vidya Swarupam with the example of Ashwatha tree. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the same example has been taken. Same example. Verses 1, 2, 3 in the Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter. Urdhva Olam Adashakam Ashwatam Prahoravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Paranani. That verse is bodily lifted from this Kathopanishad. Just now we saw Jyotisham. Jyotihi is also from Kathopanishad. So many verses of Bhagavad Gita are taken from Upanishad. Then that is one topic. This topic we are going to study in the third section is Brahma Vidya Sadhanani. Brahma Vidya Sadhanani means what are the conditions required for Brahma Vidya? Brahma Vidya Phalam. What is the benefit of Brahma Vidya? Knowing this Brahman, what benefit I get? Now, these are the three topics which we're going to discuss, we're going to study in the third section. There are 18 verses in the third section. Lord Krishna borrows 4 ideas from Kathopanishad. The verse numbers I have given here. Chapter 2, verse number 20. Na jayate mriyate va. Same 19th verse of the second chapter. Ubhautau na vijanitaha. Nayam hanti na hanyate. Ascharyo vakta. It is there in the 29th verse of the. I've given both the references. Those who are interested, you can refer this as an academic. Okay, so this is the broad picture of section 3, chapter 2, which we will start next week. Oh. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Any questions on today's talk?
Namaste, Shikaji. Is it okay? I can ask?
Yeah, go ahead, Shanta.
Yeah. I don't think I fully understood the answer which Yamaraja gives Nachiketa about the Ubhati. Uh, could you just explain that in brief again,
Which
if it's
Upadi you are
possible?
talking about? Which verse?
Where he says that the light, I think it's the 15th one. Let me just
15th
get to my
mantra,
notes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. See, the 15th mantra, na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyato bhanti kuroyo matnihi. The first part of the mantra is telling us that there is no material light which can illumine this consciousness. It is not the light of the sun, not the light of the moon, neither the light of the lightning, the light of the fire, light of the stars. So 5 light examples are taken, which are all material lights. Now, all of them, they cannot illumine this consciousness. So that is the first portion of the mantra, which is quite clear. So this portion, have you understood?
Yes, I actually wanted to the question of Nachiketa, that when he says, if nothing is being able to, can I see that light? What is that light which we talk
See, now the
about?
second part. Okay, if you have understood the first portion, the second portion of the mantra, it says, Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarva. Nachiketa wants to know that light. Tell
Yes.
me now, you are telling me about that light, Brahman, Atma, all that I understand, but how do I experience it in my own bosom? How to make that paroksha jnanam into aparoksha jnanam? Aparoksha jnana means I know I am that light. How to do that is the question of Nachiketa.
Yes,
So,
that's exactly I was wanting
so,
to understand.
so that question, Yamadharmaraja says, that the material light cannot illuminate. Therefore, don't try to objectify that light.
Hmm.
Can you can you mute the other person? Yeah. So, material light cannot objectify. So,
Hmm.
where can I look at it? Nachiketa wanted to know, he was trying to look outside. Hey, where can I see that Atma light? Like many
Hmm.
of us try to do in meditation also. I want to look at, that Atma somewhere. Then you apply the second principle.
Hmm.
Second principle in the 15th mantra is Tameva Bhantam.
Hmm.
Tameva Bhantam means I
I
shine.
see.
That I shine means I, the Atma, the light of Atma, first shine.
Hmm.
So, at any point in your meditation, you should first say, I am the light of Atma. Anytime anybody meditates, the first thing you should tell in your own mind, Aham Atma. I am the light of Atma. I am the pure consciousness. This is what is the lesson by Yamadharmaraja to Nachiketa, who was trying to objectify it. Lord Yamadharmaraja says, don't objectify it, uh, claim that light as Aham.
Hmm. So the question I was thinking when it comes to this, when many people say that the I which you're talking about is not outside, it's inside you. The Atma is which we talk about, um, or the but when we talk about this Advaitam, when we go on this path of Advaitam, then there is only one Atma. We accept that. So, therefore, what we have got inside is the reflected version or the reflected consciousness. So, therefore, um, through through understanding inside yourself as reflected consciousness, can we actually see what is being reflected?
No, 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 no. You see, the mistake you're making is you're trying to see the reflection of Atma. In this mantra, you're not looking at reflected consciousness. You
Okay,
are claiming the original
the
consciousness.
original one. Okay.
When you're looking at thought, at
Hmm.
that time, you you are looking at the reflected consciousness, which is the thought.
I think there is some disturbance around.
Yeah,
Finding
Shanmugam,
it
can you
difficult.
mute Radha Krishna?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So what happens is that you are talking about claiming the original Atma.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So don't try to see the reflection when you're looking at
Hmm.
yourself. Only say I am the
Okay.
Aham Atma. Full stop.
Hmm.
Don't do anything after that.
Hmm.
If you are able to do that again and again,
Hmm.
that is what is called as claiming Atma.
Hmm.
Okay, so here in this
Okay.
mantra, Nandu Desai says, he has put up that mantra also. It says, this Atma is the first which shines.
Hmm.
And after this only everything else shines. You see, when you get up in the morning, this is the mantra you should chant. I am there first. I means what? I, the consciousness, which
Consciousness.
was in the sleep state, experiencing no world, I, the consciousness, am there now experiencing a mind which is woken up. Through the mind, the sense organs wake up and then they experience the world. Again, the mind goes to sleep at the night. Again, what resolves? Ultimately, what is the resolution ground? The resolution ground is this Atma. That is what Nachiketa, that is what Yamadharma Raja wanted to explain in this verse to Nachiketa. Don't objectify Atma as a reflected consciousness.
Hmm.
Make it subjective. I am that Atma. and put a full stop.
Mhm.
This is a very, very big step in meditation.
Yeah,
It takes a
because in that,
long time.
yeah,
It takes a
yeah, I
long
think,
time to practice this.
yes, I can understand and appreciate that, because if you are going from, Jivatma to claiming Atma, I mean, it's a journey, of course, but then, uh, you know, um, telling yourself that you're that Atma, which is Advaitam, and yet believing that there are so many Jivatmas around you, and you know, it
See,
is very, very,
you should not get confused is between Advaita Vastu and
uh,
Dvaita experience.
experience. Ah, mm,
Dvaita experience continues.
yeah,
In the presence of Advaita Vastu, which is Atma, Dvaita experience continues, Dvaita experience resolves.
yeah. I think I have to get there to convince
Correct.
myself,
You
or,
see, so
it's
this
realization. Yeah.
knowledge is about something which is there. This
Mm,
you're not talking. It is just only you're trying to claim that as
claim.
my own nature. That's all.
Mm,
See, what you're saying is a very, very, it's a problem. It is an obstacle for all of us. But here you should make the difference between Advaita Vastu, which
and
is the which is what the Upanishad wants to reveal. It is not the
Advaita
Dvaita experience. Experience
experience.
will continue.
Mm,
So after opening your eyes, you can still say the eyes are seeing it. So what
mm,
happens in meditation if you are able to acknowledge this fact
mm,
and take it as the truth? It is
mm,
Satya. Then what happens? Even when you open the eyes, you will say, in spite of the duality experience, I still say I am the Atma.
mm.
That is the ultimate success of all the study of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. Till your
Okay.
intellect says, in spite of all the Dvaita experiences, I do not forget my real nature,
Mm,
my nature as a intrinsic nature of mine of me is Atma, which is revealed by the Upanishads. That see, that is what I said right in the beginning.
mm,
In this universe, there are two things.
mm.
One which can be known with pratyaksha pramanam. This Shankaracharya says in the beginning of Brahma Sutra Bhashya. In the introduction of Brahma Sutra, he gives this point at the beginning. He says, in this universe, there are two things to be known. One, which can be known with the help of pratyaksha pramanam. All our sense organs,
Sense
you
organs.
can know. That is what scientists know.
Mm,
There is another thing which is apratyaksha.
pratyaksha.
Apratyaksha means chaitanyam, consciousness, mind. Mind, for example, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram, Atma, these three things are Apaurusheya Pramana Vishaya. It is not known by the sense organs or the mind, it is known with the help of Veda. So, there are certain things which I can know, see, experience through my sense organs. There are certain things I cannot know with the help of my sense organs. I use the Veda Pramanam. Therefore, when the Veda says you are the consciousness principle, you are the Atma, it is talking about something which exists. It
Mm,
is not talking about some non-existing things like a rabbit on or some non-existent products in the world. It is talking about something which is there,
mm.
but it is a Paurusheya Vishaya.
Vishal.
It is
Okay.
that is why the scientists can never know this. They don't accept the Apaurusheya Vishaya.
Mm.
That there is something which science cannot know
Explain.
through its
Yes.
instruments of knowledge.
Mm.
No instrument of knowledge, no microscope, telescope, or any scope can, or the sense organs can know this. You can only know this through the Veda Pramana. Veda says the mind travels and takes another body. There is no
Mm.
proof.
Mm.
Veda says that your mind is the cause of samsara. Veda says.
Mm.
For science, mind is non-existent. It is a phenomena. It is a biological phenomena. It is an electrical impulse in the brain. That is for the science. But here Veda says there is a Sukshma Shariram, there is a Karana Shariram. Beyond these two is this Atma.
Mm.
So beyond all the lights which is there in the world, there is a light which shines.
Mm.
That is the revelation of Kathopanishad. It is the revelation of Mundaka Upanishad, revelation of Svetashvara Upanishad, revelation of Bhagavad Gita. And Vardhanika Upanishad. So many Upanishads, they talk about the same light.
Mm.
Jyotisham Jyotihi.
Jyoti.
Bhagavad Gita verse, very important verse for this revelation of
Mm.
Kshetrajna, the Atma.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for explaining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shanta. Thank you. I can understand your problem. These are all general obstacles for all seekers.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Nandu, you have a question?
Yeah, sir, just I think want to add about I think something similar conversation within the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and where Janaka is asking about which with which light the we can see, and there like Yajnavalkya is giving like several examples. Initially, it is mentioned by in a day we can see with like a sunlight. If sunlight is not there, then maybe during night time, then we are looking with like moonlight. Then the next example given, if sun and moon is not there, then there we are looking with the help of like a jyoti. And if all these three are not there, then the turning point there, and it's a given example like a with sound. Sound we cannot see, but with that perception, we can understand that. And then the Janaka says, I mean, if all these four things are not there, then with whose light? And that is the with the Atman. With the Atman light, we are able to see that or the realize that. I mean, perceive that. Yeah.
Very good. Good comparison. Very good reference point you have brought up. It is called as Swayam Jyoti Brahmana of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It is also taken up in Panchadasi, and it is a same mantra which is quoted in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Very good, Nando. Very good comparison.
Thank you.
Thank you. Um, Anybody else has any other question? Okay, if there are no other questions, what we'll do is we'll continue this third section. The last section consisting of about 18 mantras. We'll take up the we'll start with the third section, and it is the Ashwatthapari example is the first verse of the next section. Very beautiful examples, and see, all this you should keep in your back of your mind as something for meditation, something for contemplation. See, there are two schools of thought. One is called as Bhamati school of thought. Another is called as Vivarna school of thought. This comes in Brahma Sutra Bhashyam. So in Bhamati school, what they say is Nitidhyasana is very, very important. Meditation is very important to realize Atma. So what we are following now here is trying through the meditation angle, trying to hold on to that Atma. Okay, so this is one school of thought, one which was very, very popular during Shankaracharya's time. The second school of thought is Only listen. Shravanam and Mananam you do, you can know that. There are some highly qualified uh, intellectual seekers who can only listen. Natatra Surya Bhati. They don't need any meditation. The moment they hear, they are able to realize Atma. So both are possible for both. That is why I am taking meditation sessions also along with this talks. So Vivarna school says Shravanam and Mananam can give you the ultimate Atma Jnana. Bhamati school says do Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam means meditate on this Atma as I am the Atma, and you will know that you are the ultimate pure light of consciousness. Actually speaking, if you go through step by step understanding, you are bound to experience this pure bubbling consciousness. And once you have known it yourself, that is all. You have fulfilled your life's goal. I mean, that is what the Upanishad, the Veda says. Veda says you're born to know this, have this knowledge. And there are tremendous benefits of getting this knowledge, accepting this knowledge as your true self. Okay? Thank you. Have a great day. Namaste.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Thank you.